Take control of your mind the way you do your breathing. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Feeling the power of you controlling your own breathing. The same way you control your mind. One breath at a time, one thought at a time. Good air and thoughts in, bad air and bad thoughts out. Now, let's see our vision today. Let's see ourselves doing the best we can on all the exercises and stretches we do here together today, right now. Go into the future right now. See in your mind's eye. See yourself doing the best you can on whatever exercise we do together. See it so clearly that it feels real. When that music shuts off, if you've already seen it in your mind and you believe that you can make it happen, you're gonna make it real. You're gonna win.
Por mi patria, por mi nación, ninguna discriminación. Aquí no hay raza ni religión, bailalo por obligación. Qué calor, qué calor, qué calor, qué calor. En la discoteca, qué calor. Yeca, para la muñeca, por favor. Por favor.
Me la como al vapor, en la playa bañado en sudor. Los bikinis te quedan mejor, tú eres mi amor, mol, mol, mol. Cada vez que veo ese booty yo me quedo loco. Tú le das trabajo, mami, con mucho saoco. Como tú lo mueves en el mundo, lo mueves poco. Dale, dale, baila lo loco. Como tú lo mueves en el mundo, lo mueves poco. Dale, dale, baila lo loco. Como tú lo mueves en el mundo, lo mueves poco.
Calentamiento global, anda suelto el animal. Mano arriba el que es real. Qué calor, qué ca, en la discoteca, qué calor. Yeca, para la muñeca, por favor. Qué ca, en la discoteca, qué calor. Yeca, para la muñeca, por favor. Qué calor, qué calor.
Morning, guys. Today, Will Smith in the top 10 rules for success shares his first rule, and that is improve yourself. And he gives an example of how every morning when he wakes up, his number one goal and purpose is to prepare himself to work on himself to help others. And he realized that this is the most important thing, is improving ourselves, improving himself, because he's going to affect everyone around him. And the same goes with you. So the more that we work to improve ourselves, the more that we will improve things around us and those around us. So it's the most beautiful relationship in nature. So the more you improve yourself and give of yourself, the more that feeds back on you, improves you, and then it improves those around us. So we have to take an example from Will Smith and just work on our mind, body, and soul every single day when we wake up, for ourselves and for each other. Have a great morning, everyone.
I am thrilled to be here. We're talking about focus and discipline, and I'm so happy that there are so many self-development junkies in here like me. This is something that I've loved to do for many years, but I made a very common mistake, and I see it happening a lot. For a very long time, I thought that I could put enough pressure on myself and have enough anxiety that it would lead me to being more focused and productive. For a long time, I was trying to hate myself happy, criticize myself thin, shame myself wealthy. I looked at my critical voice and self-talk, and I felt kind of proud of it, to be honest. I thought, if I can just be hard on myself, then I can kick my butt into gear and finally get that focus that I want. And this is the tricky thing about stress and pressure, is that it actually works for a very short time. If we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, we're feeling a lot of stress, we'll have that buildup of pressure and we'll take action. And for a short time, we're going to stay focused, right? We're going to get it done. But then what happens? We find ourselves sabotaging ourselves. We sabotage our own success. We get exhausted. We get distracted, because our action is being fueled by pain and not by purpose and desire. And so I was doing this over and over again, this cycle. Be hard on myself, be critical, push myself forward, take action, be a little focused, self-sabotage. Einstein says that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I had to be honest with myself and realize that my strategy was insane. And it's really hard to wake up to this because, like I mentioned, it does work for short bursts. But if we're looking for long-term focus, for long-term momentum, we need to take a different approach. And to do that, it's important to look at some of the blocks around focus and discipline. And that is what we're going to be doing here. So one of the biggest blocks, block number one, is self-sabotage through procrastination. And this is what I see happening all of the time. And some of us think like, oh, this is just a character default, but none of you were born and no doctor ever said, congratulations, you have a procrastinator. It's not something that we're born with. It's not who we are. It is a symptom of something else. Procrastination and self-sabotage are misguided self-love. You're putting so much pressure on yourself to focus and to get things done that after a while you feel depleted and you feel burnt out. And suddenly that self-sabotage is a way to experience a sort of self-love. It's a way to take a break. If you never give yourself an easy way to take a break, if you never allow yourself to be fueled by passion instead of pain, you'll always turn to that self-sabotage. And so if we look at self-sabotage as misguided self-love, what it allows us to do is, first of all, we have a little more compassion for ourselves. We can be a little easier on ourselves. And we can take a step back and begin to look closer to understand what's really going on below the surface. Your subconscious mind has one focus, which is to keep you safe. All it wants is safety. And what's safe? Certainty, what's familiar, staying the same. Sometimes being stuck and miserable feels safer than getting focused and moving forward. Everything is about safety. And so I look at my purpose and my passion is to help other people's hearts know that it's safe to change. If you feel safe to dive into something and to commit, you're better able to do that. And so we have to take a step back and look at what are some of the beliefs that may be keeping us stuck and frozen. How can we begin to feel more ease and more safety around taking a chance? Because focus and discipline is about taking a chance. It's about diving in. It's about trying something new. It's about commitment. And that can seem very scary. So a great question to ask yourself in order to look below the surface is, what's the downside of being focused and getting this done? And usually when I ask someone, they're like, no, there is no downside. This is all I want. All I want is to have more energy, more focus, and to get it done. But when we really slow down and we look at that self-sabotage, we look at the times where we know what to do, but we just aren't doing it, we might reveal and discover some limiting beliefs. So from working with thousands of people through using tapping, some common beliefs are, if I really focus and get disciplined, it means that I won't have time for my family. Now, this community, that's not how we roll. We know that this isn't just about achievement, that this is about quality of life. Brendan makes that clear. But there is something different between logically knowing something and your body knowing it and truly believing it. Sometimes we tell ourselves something, but we still feel that fear in our body. We can be so positive, we can say all the right things, but we have that tightness in our chest when we want to start. We have that fear in the pit of our stomach. And this is why I love tapping, because it is a tool that uses the mind and body. It's about helping the mind and body be congruent so you can move forward with more ease. Because
did a full 180, crazy, thinking about the way I was. Did the heartbreak change me? Maybe, but look at where I ended up. I'm all good already, so moved on, it's scary. I'm not where you left me at all. So, if you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody, if you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now. Walk away, you know how. Don't start caring about me now. Aren't you the guy who tried to hurt me with the word goodbye? Though it took some time to survive you, I'm better on the other side. I'm all good already, so moved on, it's scary. I'm not where you left me at all. So, if you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody, if you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now. Walk away, you know how. Don't start caring about me now. Don't start caring dancing with somebody. If you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't show up, don't come out, don't come out, don't stop caring about me now, walk away, you know how, don't stop caring about me now.
Good afternoon, guys. As we go on this path to try to improve ourselves each and every day, we have to remember, as Les Brown has shared with us before, and it's a powerful statement, and it's worth repeating. You are the one. You are the one that has to take full responsibility for improving yourself. And there's going to be endless ways you can improve yourself. And so look at your day today, right now, where you are. What is there? Where is there one area, one thing, one choice, having looked back on your day, that you could have done something differently where it would have turned out in a different way? Think about just one example today. And with that same power of that one different decision, imagine applying that each and every moment, every single day, and never giving up on that. You'll see profound changes. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
So when you think a deliberate thought of what you want, then law of attraction will employ the universe and all people, circumstances, and events to move you to what you've asked for and to move what you've asked for to you. And so if you think about that, there is just action would be really, really hard for you to reach all of the people, circumstances, and events, manipulate all of them to receive what you want. And if you really reflect well on your life and things that have happened in your life, you'll kind of see that actually that happened for me. All I did was move to here, or all I did was move to there, and I received what I wanted. And what you think about is what you get. What you focus on is what will manifest in your life. Thoughts come, we energize them, and then they will manifest, unless we cancel that thought out with another thought, with a thought that contradicts it.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I was making $300 a month. I quit on my business partner, and the thing that saved me was studying the stories of super successful entrepreneurs. So I hope that this story today helps give you the motivation you need, because I still need it too myself. So today, let's live your best believe life and learn the mindset shift to make to activate the law of attraction. Enjoy.
I want to talk to you about The Secret. When we made The Secret documentary, because The Secret documentary reached hundreds of millions of people across the planet. Now, it's impossible for me and The Secret team to have got the movie personally into the hands of those hundreds of millions of people. And I want you to know what we did with The Secret, because this is a perfect example and may help you for manifestation in your life. Hi, everybody on Facebook. Hi from India. So much love to everybody there too. Thank you so much for joining me. So now, we visualized The Secret bringing joy to millions. We visualized, we intended, we held that dream in our mind constantly while we were making the documentary. I can say from my perspective that I held that dream of The Secret bringing joy to the world 24/7. Every breath that I took that dream was held. And we actually had intention meetings every morning at 11 a.m. The entire team came together, and we all together collectively saw The Secret sweeping the world. We saw The Secret being featured on Oprah. We did all of everything that you saw happen in the world. We had intended every single day in our intention meetings. So then, yes, we took action to make the documentary, but I want to explain to you the difference because of what we did. The action that we took was to receive what we had asked for. So let me think of an example. So there were many teachers that I wanted to have featured in The Secret. We were based in Australia at that time. The whole team and I came to the United States. We did not have one single teacher lined up, not one. There was one teacher that I really, really wanted. I'd read every one of his books. That was Bob Proctor. Another teacher that I really, really wanted was Jack Canfield. And my sister was contacting all of the teachers and telling them the story, my story, of how I had discovered The Secret and what we wanted to do. And so she hadn't had any luck with Bob Proctor, but she had with Jack Canfield. And Jack Canfield happened to be in Aspen and said and told us, fly to Aspen and you can film me. And then he said he wanted me to do a presentation. He had a big kind of meeting that he was holding in Aspen and with a lot of teachers, and he wanted me to do a presentation to all of those teachers. I'd never done that before in my life. But anyway, I showed the trailer and I did a presentation, and I can remember that day, that night, I just knew that this is just going to be the most incredible thing in the world, because this would set people free and they would be able to have the life that they deserved. And so I did the presentation, and Jack Canfield announced to the room, if anybody would like to be filmed for this documentary, step forward now. And the whole room stepped forward. All these teachers. We just went there to film Jack Canfield, but all of these teachers, do you see how incredible that is? That could never have happened if we hadn't intended and saw the universe moved, people, circumstances, and events for us to receive what we had asked for. Now let me tell you about Bob Proctor, because while we're filming in Aspen, my sister finally managed to talk to Bob Proctor's personal assistant. And so my sister explained my story, because when the teachers heard my story, they knew that I was authentic. And so she explained my story, and Bob Proctor's assistant said, where are you now? And my sister said, we're filming in Aspen. And she said, oh my God, we are here in Aspen. And so do you know, when she went and told Bob Proctor, he knew, because we were filming in Aspen and he was already in Aspen. He knew this was meant to be. And he was over sitting in the chair to be filmed within a couple of hours. And so we filmed Bob Proctor. And that, I can tell you, is just one of the tiniest things that happened with the making of The Secret documentary. Everything that we needed came to us. And I remember the team, we would say we could make a movie about the making of The Secret documentary, because there were just so many incredible stories. But all of this that happened, everything that happened for us, because we saw it in our mind. We saw the joy that was going to come to the world, and we never, ever let go of that. And everything we needed, technically, teachers, content, footage, whatever we needed, was effortless for us. And so if you ask any one of the Secret team if thought is more powerful than action, then we know it is the case. We know it.
Rule number 2 is visualize with Bob Proctor.
Dr. Werner von Braun, when President Kennedy asked him what it would take to build a rocket that would carry a man to the moon and then bring him back safely to Earth, von Braun said, the will to do it. The will is the mental faculty that gives you the ability to hold one idea on the screen of your mind to the exclusion of all outside distractions. See, if you take your imagination, do it. You have goals. Take your imagination and then take yourself there, see yourself already have completed the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then hold that picture with your will. When you go there with your imagination, there is a place. Whatever it is you want, you went there with your imagination, there is a place. You stay there in your imagination. You will attract everything that's required for the manifestation of that picture. You saw Brady doing it last Sunday.
Guy's a machine.
Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal.
So holding the imagination, the picture that you want in your mind,
Uh-huh.
and then attracting it on the steps to get there.
Yeah. You see,
La vida me empezó a cambiar. La noche que te conocí, tenía poco que perder. Y la cosa sigue así. Yo con mi sostén a rayas y mi pelo a medio hacer. Pensaste todavía es un niño, pero ¿qué le voy a hacer? Es lo que andaba buscando, el doctor recomendando. Creí que estaba soñando. Oh, oh, ¿de qué me andaba quejando? No sé qué estaba pensando. Voy para el cielo y voy pateando. Oh, oh, me enamoré, me enamoré. Lo vi solito y me lancé. Me enamoré, me enamoré. Mira qué cosa bonita, qué boca más redondita. Me gusta esa barbita. Y bailé hasta que me cansé, hasta que me cansé, bailé y me enamoré. Nos enamoramos, un mojito, dos mojitos. Mira qué ojitos bonitos, me quedo otro ratito. Contigo yo tendría 10 hijos, empecemos por un par. Solamente te lo digo, por si quieres practicar. Lo único que estoy diciendo, vayámonos conociendo, es lo que está proponiendo. Oh, oh, nos vamos entusiasmando, todo nos va resultando, que bien lo estamos pasando. Oh, oh, me enamoré, me enamoré. Lo vi solito y me lancé. Me enamoré, me enamoramos. Mira qué cosa bonita, qué boca más redondita. Me gusta esa barbita.
Good evening, guys. As we live, laugh, and love our way to infinite mind wealth, I'm reminded of an example that I've heard Will Smith and a few others share before. And it is the example of when we're trying to improve ourselves and we're trying to grow and become better and be good people every single day, be the best people we can be, you have to look at it through an example of like emptying the ocean with a ladle. When you actually visualize that, you know, it seems ludicrous and ridiculous, but it's funny in one sense because it provides the example of, even though you have this small ladle and you're just slowly trying to remove, let's say, droplets of negativity in the world, each and every time you do it, you make progress, even though it might seem insurmountable. But it's a reminder of how much work there is to be done, and we're all in it together. Have a great evening, everyone.
I think that people should absolutely look at what is it that gives you more energy, because it's a game of attrition. You're playing a very long time horizon. You're going to fail a lot. There's going to be a lot of like having to figure things out and making mistakes, and a lot of that aversion energy is going to come in as you struggle with this or whatever. If the thing itself isn't replenishing a large amount of that energy, then you're really going to be in trouble. The doing should be joyful. And so I think the right question for people to ask isn't what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? It's what would I do and love every day, even if I were failing. When you think about what you could enjoy failing at, now you're on a much more interesting path, right? Because, okay, I can be in here, I can fight this fight, I can struggle with this thing, and over time, obviously I'm hoping that I figure it out and I win big and all of that. I knew that I was sort of burning my fuse and that I was just banking that I could get rich faster than that fuse would run out.
Right.
And I lost, and the fuse ran out before I got rich. And so thank God, because in that, the rest of my life hinged and everything turned on that because of that moment, because I knew that, you know, one, tomorrow's not guaranteed to any of us. Once you know, okay, I'm on borrowed time, I don't know that I'll ever be successful. If you have a fuse, the odds of it running out are much higher than you finding success.
Need motivation? Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I was making $300 a month. I quit on my business partner, and the thing that saved me was studying the stories of super successful entrepreneurs. So I hope that this story today helps give you the motivation you need, because I still need it too myself. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Tom Bilyeu, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
So you have to figure out what is that thing that I can do and keep doing and struggle and fight, because life has a certain amount of that no matter what you do. And going back to that, you have evolutionary pressure to work hard. So if you know you're going to have to struggle at something, then you should very much struggle at something that gives you energy. Now, what is it that I focus on and think about that gives me the energy to keep doing all of this? I have a very simple mission. It's simple to articulate. How about that? To pull off is going to be, very, very difficult. But the simple idea is that right now, in much of the developed world, your zip code is the #1 predictor of your future success. And so, while I'm not a huge fan of thinking that IQ is a big factor in people's success, of course it is. So if the answer were that your IQ were the #1 predictor of your future success, okay, I could begrudgingly accept that, and it never would have become the mission in my life. But seeing amazing people who I love and care about get chewed up by the inner cities was something that I wasn't prepared to just accept and live with. So at first I thought that I could just gather people around and say, hey, I took myself from really struggling emotionally, not knowing how to succeed in business, to being very successful. It's ideas, it isn't me. There was nothing like different about me. I met minimum requirements, right? So there is a level of intellect that you will need. I meet minimum requirements. Anybody listening to this meets minimum requirements. So now I thought, okay, I could just gather people around and explain the ideas. They would be able to go off and implement them, and it would change their life forever.
Rule number 2, find fulfillment.
Fulfillment is very simple for me. And it has to do with the directives that are embedded in your brain from an evolutionary standpoint. So you must work hard, it's embedded in your brain, to acquire skills that matter to you, that allow you to elevate yourself and others in service of a goal that's both exciting and honorable. So exciting and honorable means that you're just amped about it. You dig it. So I dig storytelling. I do. And I want to help people through storytelling. I do. My life circumstances have led me to that. The way that I'm hardwired, I just have an outsized response to stories. And so I'm drawn to that. And because of life experience, I want to use stories to help people. So that's very exciting for me. Now, it's also honorable because I'm not just looking to make myself rich or be admired for telling a cool story. I actually want to help people with that story, and I hold myself accountable to that. So when you have that cocktail, you're working hard to garner a set of skills that allow you to serve not only yourself, but other people. That's fulfillment. So people can say whatever they want. And I know, like, if I'm actually out there every day doing my best to help people, I'm going to feel good about that. Now, I'm not going to feel good about people misunderstanding that. That's still going to suck. But I know what's in my heart. And so if I'm like, no, for real, I'm showing up no matter what people say, I really am showing up to help people, then that will give you the emotional resilience that you need to see yourself through. So fulfillment is it's able to withstand even moments of unhappiness. And when you have fulfillment, the thing that you believe in that you're fighting for, then it gets easier to push through, whatever frustrations, difficulties, the mob coming after you, whatever. If you don't have that, and you were just trying to be famous or get approval, and it feels like the entire world is piling on you, you just are like, yeah, I'm done with this. So there really has to be something you're fighting for.
Rule number 3, shift your mindset.
What I learned long before I actually became successful was that success wasn't going to change my insecurities. And I think most people go into it thinking that success is going to eradicate their insecurities. They look at somebody that's successful with this admiration. And they think, when I'm that successful, I will look at myself with that admiration. And it doesn't work like that. So, and what's super interesting, it's not surprising at this point. This would have surprised me in my 20s. But like I said, thankfully, I learned these lessons when I was still struggling, is that your insecurities are going to go with you wherever you go. And the name of the game is really about skill set, and skill set in a few different ways. Skill set in, there are things that I want to accomplish in this world and I must get good at them. But then there's also skill set in managing my own mind. And that is the real juice. So you gave me that poster, Outwork Everyone. And when I was writing a message on it, it's like, to outwork everyone, there is a certain thing that must be true in your mind, which is you have to know that all you have is this moment. And so success is not something in the future where you will cross a finish line and feel forever the way you've always wanted to feel, which is what people think. Success will feel exactly like this moment. Whatever your life is right now, if it's a mess, I could give you $1 billion and it would still be a mess. And so understanding the name of the game is really to optimize the way that you respond to your environment, the way you respond to your challenges, the way you respond to difficulties. That's it.
Rule number 4, use anger as fuel.
One, I believe
And back to legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Feeling the power of you regaining control of your breathing. No matter how fast your breathing became, your heart started pumping faster, started automatically going faster. Right now, we get to take control of our breathing. To keep our back straight, our eyes closed, and our legs crossed. The same way, we get to take control of our thoughts, our mind, at any time, which will then control our bodies and our feelings directly. That's how powerful you are. But you have to believe 100% in this power, this infinitely intelligent being within you and all of us. You got to believe with all your heart and soul that you can do something. If you don't believe in yourself, nothing else or nobody else will. We're all looking to you. We're all looking to each other to find out the truth of what is already in us. We hold the key, each and every one of us. It all starts with our power to believe 100% in who we really are. That's the greatest determination you can make. 100% believing in you, no matter what, no matter how many mistakes, how many so-called failures, losses, pain, suffering you've experienced. you get to learn from all of it. You get to realize the truth, that there is no such thing as failure. There is only fuel from our mistakes and our losses, which gets transformed, gets used to create our determination.